All right, so we're going to go over how to prepare for job interviews for remote sales specifically. If you are looking to land a new role as an appointment setter or as a closer, this video is for you. You're going to want to watch it all the way through because we're going to cover some very, very important aspects that you're going to want to nail for these interviews if you want to just get tons and tons of offers and have your pick of the litter of where you want to work as a remote sales professional. First and foremost, the first thing you're going to want to do on these offers is research the company. I know, straightforward, obvious. Know the company that you're going to be interviewing with. Look up their website, look at who they serve. If you can, maybe even look at who works there. Connect with some of them if you really want to land the offer. Understand some of their marketing channels. Look at their ads. Look at their landing pages. You want to look at how they serve their clients and their testimonials, their case studies, and really get an understanding for what they do and why they do it. So you can showcase that you know not only what they sell, but the importance of why they sell it. And you can display, hopefully, your passion to want to be a part of that place. Have a good why for why you should be working at that company. Not only because you can provide a ton of value, but because you believe in the mission and the vision of that organization. That is a huge aspect, especially if you're interviewing with business owners, with founders, with people that have a huge passion for what they do, or else they wouldn't have started the company. If you can be in alignment with them with that passion, if you can be in alignment with them with caring about and caring for the people that they serve and having conviction for what they sell and showcasing that conviction, they're going to want to hire you. I've said this on so many videos. I've seen lots of closers with no experience or way less experience in their competition in interviews land offers simply because they had a greater passion for the people, the prospects of that offer, and the thing being sold, the niche that they were selling in. They really cared and wanted to see people win in that problem that that company or organization was solving. And when a business owner can see that, and even good recruiters and sales managers, when they can see that, they're going to give you a second look. They're going to consider you more over some other things that you might be lacking, simply because everyone understands. They understand, if they're any good at what they do, that conviction sells. And if you can showcase that conviction, it'll go a long way. Next, you want to make sure that you understand your own sales ideology. You're going to be asked on some of these interviews, how do you sell? What's your framework? How do you approach handling certain objections? You need to be able to not only do the things on the call, but break down how and why you usually or typically go about it. What's your sales ideology? And what they're looking for is, does your sales ideology match my sales ideology? Does your sales ideology match the team's sales ideology? Are you going to be someone who sells the same way that the team sells, or at least the top performers on the team sell? Do you answer this question similarly or in the same way that other sales reps on the team sell? Maybe it would be helpful to network with other reps on the team and ask them what the ideology of the company is before you get in the interview. That way you know how to answer, or that way you at least say, hey, this is when, based on my research, this is the type of way we would need to sell with these types of prospects, and I'm more than comfortable of selling in that type of way. And hey, they're going to be like, great, hey, that's the exact ideology, that's the exact way we sell here. I think you'd be a great fit. So understand your own sales ideology. A lot of sales reps know that they gotta dig into pain, gotta probe, they gotta do these things, they gotta ask certain questions, but they don't know why. And if you want to showcase that you are a professional, you're top 1% of sales professionals out there, knowing why is a big part of it. And it's a big part of being able to be more malleable, more moldable, more flexible on sales calls, and not being rigid or stuck into any kind of perfect word for word script, is knowing why you ask certain questions so that you can be moldable while you're on the call. You can be reactive when certain things happen. Not only do you need to understand your own sales ideology, a lot of interviewers are going to ask where or how you learned it. They're going to want to know who your mentors were, who you've been trained by. Some won't care, some will care. I personally don't think it's a huge deal, but some business owners are going to think it's a huge deal simply because they have either fallen in love with or they just like the idea of a style of a certain trainer. They might name names. They might say, you know, I like how Grant Cardone sells. I like how Jeremy Minor sells. I like how Cole Gordon sells. I like how, you know, different people sell. I like their sales ideology. So if I hear a rep say that they follow that sales ideology, if I hear a rep say they learned sales from Alex Hormozi or whatever, I like their way of selling. I agree with their way of selling, and I try to have my team sell that way. So if you're trained by that person or if you watch that person's content to learn, therefore I will give you another look, or maybe I'll hire you because that's how I want us to sell. That's how I'm trying to get them to sell. So know where you've learned. And that doesn't mean you have to name drop, but even if it's just, hey, I learned through trial and error. Hey, I learned through different mentors from different sales teams. That's totally fine. But be able to explain that in a way that's not just, I don't know, I just kind of figured it out over the time. Like, have some specific ways to break it down, have some specific stories, some specific examples that you can showcase. Like, this is how I got to this point. This is what I've seen work in these different industries with these different products or services. If you have the experience, if you have a track record to do so and talk about. That being said, you want to also have stories for every single trait you claim that you have. So it's not enough to just say I'm hardworking, I'm dependable, I care about people, I like to go deep on calls, whatever trait you want them to believe that you have a story, have some kind of example to showcase that you actually do have that trait. Because everyone's going to say that I'm a hard worker. But one guy that says I'm a hard worker and another guy that says I'm a hard worker and on my last roll I did over 200 dials a day and was top of the boards for appointment set, one is more believable than the other, and I'm sure you know which one it is. So stories sell. Have stories that showcase the traits that you want to be able to showcase, and business owners will be way more likely to actually believe it. And they'll be way more likely to not just, in one ear out the other, dismiss it. They'll remember it because a story was attached to it. All of the best things that we remember as human beings usually come in the form of stories. So tell stories. Another thing is your numbers. Know your numbers. Can't stress how important it is for you to know your numbers. It speaks volumes to your professionalism if you're someone who has an accurate account for how you actually performed. If you're detail oriented in that way, it shows that you had some care, and again, that you actually treated your role with a degree of professionalism that some reps just aren't, and your competition probably won't be able to display on these interviews. You will be a cut above the rest. You'll be the obvious choice if you have an accurate account of your close rate, your show rate, your offer rate, your referral rate, any numbers that you were involved in as it related to the leads and the deals. You should know them. You're not going to need to present them all on the call, but being able to spout them off, being able to speak about them, being able to showcase them in a way that says, hey, this is tracked, this is managed, and every single action I take, whether it's increasing the way I do something, whether it's changing the way I do something, every decision behind my action is data-based. I make data-driven decisions, not emotional-based decisions. That's what business owners are looking for. That's what business owners need to be themselves to see the level of success they've seen in their business. So if they see that in you, they're going to hire you. Again, and when it comes to having, clear numbers and understanding your numbers, that comes with having clarity around your goals. You have clear goals, you have realistic goals, and you have the numbers and the ability to reverse engineer how you're going to achieve your goals. When they talk to you about what your goals are, you're not just saying willy-nilly pie in the sky things. You have an accurate plan for how you're actually going to get there. And again, even if the goals that you have aren't something that you're going to necessarily do with this company, you at least have goals that you want to achieve with that company. Maybe you don't need to talk about the pie in the sky goal. Maybe you don't need to talk about the huge 5-10 year out goal. Maybe you just talk about the 1, 2, 3, 4 year goal that maybe involves you being a part of this company and helping them scale as a sales professional by generating massive revenue for them. And you talk about the goals that only pertain to them, that showcase that you're in alignment for where that company wants to go. if you can talk about goals in that way, again, they're going to see alignment. It's all about alignment. Is this person someone that's going to mesh well, perform well? Do we have synchronicity here? And if you can show that by the way you talk about your goals, the specificity you talk about your goals without rambling on for minutes and minutes and minutes, direct, short, sweet, all of your answers need to showcase, hey, there's intentionality behind this. And I've actually thought about this before. This is not just I want to make 10K a month. I want to make 100K a month, right? I've thought about this. There's intentionality behind it. I have a plan. I have a reverse engineered how I'm going to get there with your company. And as a byproduct of me getting there, your company is going to see massive benefits and return on your investment in me. That's what needs to be communicated through how you talk about what your goals are. Next, we have making sure your setup is proper. I don't know if I recorded both of these videos today. I'm not sure if I released this one first or the other one first, but if you saw one of my videos that talks about what equipment you need, actually, I'm going to release the equipment one first, but it talks about what equipment you need for remote sales. Go through that video. It's on this channel, but that video talks about what you need to look professional and not be immediately passed up. I'm sorry to say, at the end of the day, we're visual creatures, and if you can have all the great answers, you can say things right, you can have good tonality, you can have all these things, but if you don't have a proper setup in terms of decent camera quality, it's not blurry, it's not grainy, a decent microphone where you're coming through clearly, it's not chippy, good Wi-Fi so that it doesn't, mess up how good your camera and your microphone is. If you have a good camera, good mic, but your Wi-Fi is not good, you're going to come through grainy and chippy anyway. So good camera quality, good microphone quality, good internet quality, good lighting so that you have nice white light, not orange or, just weird, dark colored, dim lighting. And the location you're taking calls from looks like a dedicated location for your sales calls. You do this as a profession. This isn't some hobby side gig for you. You're not on your couch. You're not in your bed. You're not in your bedroom. You have a dedicated place, and sometimes that can just be a blank wall space. Doesn't need to be fancy. Doesn't need to be bookshelf and all that. Just a nice blank wall, maybe a window in the background, maybe a plant, maybe a photo, maybe a painting, whatever. But it's a dedicated space where you are taking your calls. Again, if you want a more detailed breakdown on that, watch my videos on what equipment you need. It's on the channel. But if you have those things, you show up to the call with those things. You show up to the call having done the research, knowing why you're going to work for this company, why you want to work for this company, the passion you have for this company, and the value you can bring. You show up knowing and understanding your sales ideology, not what questions you ask, not what you do on the call, but also why you do it and what kind of reaction for the prospect you're trying to elicit behind what you're doing in every aspect of the call. You know who or how or what you've learned and how you came to this idea of the ideology you use. You learn from different mentors, you learn from trial and error, you understand how you formulated the process, you know your numbers from previous offers or just previous things that you've done. You show that everything you do is managed, tracked. The decisions you make are not emotional, they're data-driven decisions. You also have clear goals that align with the company you're applying for. At the end of the day, your goals are clear, they're tracked, they're reverse engineered, and when you smash them, everyone around you wins. And if they want to win, they need to be around you. They need to hire you, right? And you have stories that showcase all of your traits. I guess we're on 6. I'm running out of fingers. The stories that you tell are pointing to the traits that you want to claim you have. If you say you're a hard worker, you should have stories, examples that back that up. If you say that you're dependable, you have stories, examples that back that up. If you say that you're someone who does whatever it takes to achieve goals, to hit targets, to hit quota, to hit the projections for the week, you have stories or examples where you had to go above and beyond to do that. Stories to prove the traits. And last but not least, you have a proper setup. You look professional. You look like you take the role seriously. Have all that, you will crush your interviews. If you want more help with your interviews, if you want someone to look at your setup to make sure it looks good, if you want someone to look at your interview mocks to make sure you're answering interview questions well, look at your intro videos, sales resumes, whatever. That's why we have the RepSelect community. Link is down in the description. It's a free community. We do a free training call every single Monday. You can jump on. I'm the one that hosts all of these calls at the moment, at least. And I jump on every Monday at 3:30 p.m. East. But if that's not the time when you're watching this video, you just check the calendar in our community. The link is down below. Click it, check the calendar, jump on those calls, and it's totally free support that I'm there to give you. Elsewise, hopefully that helps. If you're looking for sales jobs, we also have the RepSelect platform. Again, links in the description. See you guys in the next video.